Hey, I'm Imogen Clark and I'm going to talk you through the lyrics of my song, If I Want In. There's a railway hotel in every town around here. If you stick around long enough, they'll make you disappear. So the first line of the song, there's a railway hotel in every town around here, I wrote that first. I don't always write the first lyric of the song first, but I did in this occasion. And I was on my piano in my apartment in Sydney, and I was thinking about the fact that everywhere in regional Australia, where I grew up, there is always a railway hotel everywhere. There's always a pub on the corner next to the station where people go and drink. I was thinking about the fact that I came from a rural town called the Hawkesbury out west of Sydney, and it was the sort of town that was very working class, and I spent a lot of my youth playing cover gigs in places like the railway hotel, places that were just kind of these working class pubs where you'd often play to the back of people's heads while they played poker machines. And if you stick around long enough, you feel like you're going to start sinking into this lifestyle of not really ever leaving the town and buying a house in the town and never sort of going anywhere. There's ice in the summer, there's fights in the bars. And out west of the city, you never see stars. So what those lines mean is that, obviously it's a play on words. Ice is another name for meth, which is unfortunately a drug that kind of took over my small town as I was growing up when I was a child. It became a lot more sort of common in my town and sort of turned it from being a quaint small town into a little bit of a more dangerous place. So there's ice in the summer. And there's fights in the bars, some of which I witnessed while playing these cover gigs when I was younger. And out west of the city, you never see stars is kind of meant to be ironic, because out of the city, you normally see more stars because there's less pollution out there. And that's true of where I grew up. But you also don't see as many celebrities or famous people or people that have gone on to sort of achieve big dreams, because it's just a small town attitude. Everyone I know is either married or in rehab. I couldn't say which one is worse. There was an expectation in the small town that I came from that, you would just finish school and get married as soon as possible to someone you met in high school and immediately have a bunch of kids, and that's just the path that you would take and that's supposed to make you happy. And for me, that was always my worst nightmare. I didn't want to do any of those things. And I always kind of dreamt of the world that was outside of those boundaries and wanting to go and explore and live in different parts of the world and try my luck at a music career. And so that's what that lyric is really about, feeling like you just want to break away from those expectations. You should be able to hate the idea of marriage in the same way that you hate the idea of going to rehab. Like, they can both be unattractive things to you, and the idea of getting married to someone doesn't have to be like this pinnacle of what life should be. I got too much supply and never enough demand. I couldn't live it in reverse. So that lyric is just about the fact that I always felt like I had so much to give, so much life to live, so much love to give, and so much that I wanted to say in my music, and always feeling like I didn't necessarily have the platform to say it, staying in the town that I was in. If I want in, I gotta get out. If I want in, I gotta get out of this. If I want in, I gotta get out of this town. Speaks for itself, a very Born to Run inspired, get me out of here so I can experience what life has to offer. Really, I feel like my hometown is a place that made me who I am, but it also made me realize I had to leave it in order to achieve my goals and dreams. I'm going after this fever dream. You gotta leave to be the homecoming queen. So those lyrics are just about, chasing after what you want, and sometimes you have to leave, especially in the music industry. It feels like you have to leave a place to achieve some success in a totally unknown foreign area, so that you can come back and feel like you're coming back like the homecoming hero. And I've left pieces of myself inside every single dive bar here in Western Sydney. So I took pieces of her with me. So that's just kind of, paying tribute to all of the venues that and all of the places that I cut my teeth as an artist. I mean, I started playing in these pubs when I was 12, and that was my pocket money in school, and that was the way I learned how to deal with crowds and how to play my instruments and how to sing and how to, speak to audiences. And so I have truly sort of played in all of these places, cities and regional towns around Australia, and I feel like I've left pieces of myself in all of those places. So, of course, when I step into the next era of my life, I'm taking pieces of those places with me as well. I had to learn who I wasn't to find who I am. The streets of Windsor screaming, get out while you can. So Windsor is the first place I ever played gigs when I was young, and that's a part of my hometown. And obviously, sometimes you get the feeling in those streets that if you don't make the move now, you're just never going to leave and you're going to end up there for the rest of your life. And that's that sort of urgency that I was feeling when I wrote that lyric. And learning who I wasn't to find who I am is kind of, I did entertain the thoughts that everybody entertains about marriage and children when, as I've grown up, I've thought, do I want those things? And it took me kind of looking on at other people's lives and thinking about it for myself to really realize that wasn't who I am, and that's not what I want. Don't wanna be a mother and wife to a man who I've known since I was 10, and he's telling all our friends you should hear her when she sings her little songs on the weekends. So those lyrics are really about kind of the double entendre there, is that I don't want to be a wife and I don't want to be a mother, but it's also kind of a joke of like, I don't want to be a wife to a man and also his mother, which I know is something that happens a lot. But I don't want to be those things, and I don't want to end up in a relationship where my whole life is about my marriage, my whole life is about my child, and then on the weekends I go and maybe play down at the pub for a couple of bucks, but that's as far as music goes in my life anymore. I don't want to get to the point where the only time music is part of my life is just when I have a little sing on the weekend for a couple of extra bucks and my friends are all like, oh, I didn't know you could sing, that's really cool. I never want music to fall to that low on the priority list. So that's what that's about. It's really fun to do one of these lyric videos because I have had misinterpreted lyrics in the past that have led to some very funny things. I had this song called Late Night Girl where there was a lyric the lyric was, can I be your call on sugar? As in like someone you call on when you're lonely. And I did this show where they asked me to send in the lyrics, and I did. And then I saw the subtitles come up on the show when I watched it back, and it said, can I be your corn on sugar? Like food. So this is fun. Hopefully we have a record now. No corn on sugar situations from here. Thanks for watching, guys. Go and stream If I Want In on all of the streaming platforms.